And we're live.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Building Your Wellness Brand Within Your Community. I'm Dr. Alan Weinstein with my co-host, Dr. Randi Ross. Today's episode is brought to you by our latest sponsor, who last week was the first showing, and that is the William David Company, Rethinking Small Business Marketing since 2009. And watch for exciting offers coming your way. And of course, Community Wellness Day. Every great opportunity begins with the first step. Take that step with Community Wellness Day. The system, the official marketing coaching program of healthcare professionals everywhere. And of course, the VIP app, the only application that allows you to bring your live hangouts just like this one to all those people that have you in their circles, onto their iPhones, their iPads, their Samsung devices, and their desktop. Our apps look so good, people are going to want to lick them. And of course, Google Plus in 10, a step-by-step guide of everything Google for your business. You could check that out at tinyurl.com/Google in 10. And today, part 2 of is your virtual appearance professional. There's no second chance to make a first impression. With that said, let me turn it over to my co-host. Here's Dr. Randi.
Well, thank you, Dr. Allen, and welcome to everyone. If you're viewing this where you have a comment box, make sure to let us know where you're hanging out from. I'm hanging out from the finally sunny and not snowy Jersey Shore, and Dr. Allen joins us from the Berkshire Mountains, and I'm sure he still has a lot of snow. Anyway, today we're going to continue our talk on something that I think is so important and is this huge disconnect for a lot of people to really understand how important this is. It links into what we teach about relationship marketing for your business, and it's something that we've broken down because it has a bunch of moving parts and we didn't want to overwhelm you with information. So last week we talked about your website presence and the different elements there and why the things are so important that we talked about. And if you weren't with us, go back and take a look at that and you can review that information. But today, and if Dr. Allen advances the slide, we're going to show you a little bit about what I call part 2 in this presence, your virtual presence, and that's talking about different social media aspects. Now, this is something that I'll go as far to say is sometimes even controversial and people don't agree on everything, but understanding the need to have these different social media pages and the presence there, but more important than that, understanding why they benefit you. Just saying, hey, I got a Facebook page is not giving you benefits as a business person and not giving you that great virtual impression that people are expecting when they're looking for you. Remember, this is really important to understand. I just had this conversation with someone yesterday, like, well, we're talking to a doctor. Why would someone look for a doctor on the internet? That's not the point. So if that's where your thoughts are, you need to do a little mind shift. It's not about people necessarily going online to look for a doctor, a realtor, this or that, although many people will. The point is that even when someone refers to you, okay, the natural instinct today, more than ever before and growing, is people go onto their computer, onto their iPhone, onto their iPad, and the first thing they're doing is they're Googling you, okay? So it's not just about that this is how people will look for someone. Even in a referral situation, they're going to check you out online, and you want to make sure that you have everything as professional as people are expecting today. And trust me, they are expecting this, and when you don't deliver, you're losing business. So let's talk about these different parts of social media that are so important. So, you know, we could go through the list, so to speak. There's obviously, we're here on Google Plus. We think it's a very important platform. Why is that? Guess what? Google owns search. Google loves when you use their programs. Primarily, their programs are Google Plus as well as YouTube. Now, every hangout instantly becomes a YouTube video. And the reason why we feel really strongly about hangouts and using Google Plus and using YouTube, even then, and video being king is another conversation, but it's because this is the way I was explaining it to someone. I'm going to brag about my kid before I brag about your kid. And that's important to understand. Google wants you to use their platforms, and guess what? They're going to give you that little extra juice because you do. So understanding that it goes deeper than just having these, I can tell you more times than not, I'm going to say 8 times out of 10, when I'm looking at someone's presence, I often find they have a YouTube channel, they have a G+ page, they have these other social media platforms, but they're not built. And when someone lands to me on a YouTube channel and there's just the gray background because they haven't even taken the time to put a custom image, a branding image in there, or there's no videos, or nothing's built, or there's no welcome message, or from a back office point of view, you have not optimized that channel, you have not built it properly, you are missing so many opportunities. So many people connect and expect you to have these different platforms built properly. And I know this is something that kind of drives Dr. Allen crazy too, because we'll do that. We'll look at someone's information and we'll say, why don't they do this? Now, sometimes I just think it's people don't know. They don't understand the importance. And this has become a whole other element to doing business that a lot of people were never trained in, for wherever your official training comes from, so you don't understand that this is just as important as anything else you do today in your business. Okay? Remember, if I'm checking you out, so to speak, because my neighbor referred me to you, and I go to your social media pages and they're sloppy, they're not built, that to me is a first impression that you don't care enough about your business to do things properly, to give me the information, now this is important, in the place I want to receive it. So someone says, well, I have a Facebook page. Well, guess what? That's not where a lot of people want to go any longer. So you have to have this, we'll call a cross-platform appearance, so that wherever people want to get their information from you, they can get that information from you. And again, just having a channel is definitely not enough. It's important to make sure that they're built properly. And this is something that a lot of people won't understand unless it's something you do. It happens to be something that we do, so we understand the value and the importance of it. And then there's a whole bunch of, and this is something that a lot of people, I'm not going to go into detail on this, what we refer to as backlink accounts. And what those are different places when Google's searching you and they say, hey, well, they have this on this information, whatever the person's searching for. Oh, well, they have this on their website. Oh, and guess what? They also have a YouTube video about it. And they have a post here, and they have a blog on this topic. And they see you on what I call these, the backlink kind of channels that nobody really promotes, but they see it appearing there. All of a sudden, Google says, hey, this person must really be an authority. Now you're viewed by the #1 search engine in the world as an authority. That gives you a stronger presence. So that's the boosting end of it, but even more than that, what we're talking about today is the importance of having information about your service, your specialty, your expertise delivered on all different platforms to make sure that whenever people land there, you're professional, you're delivering the information so that they can receive it the way they want to receive it. That's why also, and this just happened to me yesterday, I went to someone's website and they actually have social media pages. Not great, but they were there. And they didn't even have the buttons on their website. That's 10 seconds to install your social media buttons on your website. And these are elements that are so important to someone's impression of you. It's almost equivalent to, if you think about it, years ago, if someone happened to have an ad, and if the ad was really sloppy and it didn't give the right information or it didn't give the right impression, What does that do? It turns you off. When someone doesn't receive the right impression from you, it actually, again, this is why we're talking about this, it can often cause you to lose business because they've landed there, they don't think that you don't have the information for them, as opposed to when they land on someone's page that, if we built it or they built out their entire social media platform, guess what? That page is built, it's professional, it's branded, there's a welcome message, we're giving them direction. Every single one of their videos is optimized. There's live calls to action in there. This always drives me crazy on YouTube. Dr. Allen and I talk about this. When someone says a website when on a video, instead of making it a live link, if I'm on a video watching it, I don't want to grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down a website and plug it in. I want to be able to click. I'm engaged. That's something else that's really important for us to talk about. Are you engaging people on these different platforms? That's important. You have comment sections posted, and you'll see even on our Google Hangout page, we have comment sections where people can ask questions. If you have a blog, it's really important to have comments because that's where you can engage with people. And if you were with us a couple of weeks ago and we had Michael Drew on, that's something that he talked about that was really important. Engagement builds, and this is where we come back to the social media aspect. Engagement starts to build this relationship. When you have this engagement and you're having this exchange, whether it's between you and someone viewing something, or it's between other people that are viewing this and wind up in a virtual kind of conversation, that starts to build an element of trust for you and what you do. That's the first level. It's this initiation when we talk about relationship marketing. If you avoid of that communication style and you're not engaging people and you don't have things developed and set up properly, again, you're losing opportunities for people to connect with you. People want to do business with people they trust and they like. That's what relationship marketing is all about. The great thing about social media today is it actually gives you that opportunity to virtually initiate relationships and start that connection and start that conversation. So it's so important for you to be doing things to engage people. Sometimes you can start that conversation. Dr. Allen, I see that you have unmuted and you want to jump in here.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to just read some statistics to some people because of that list that you have, which is a terrific list. I just want to tell everyone that number one, all those things are now secondary to mobile. That means, and here are some statistics for you. This is from eMarketer, December 2014. 48% of all emails that are opened are now opened on a mobile device. So number one, no, I don't care what your website is. I don't care who made it for you. I will tell you, if it's not mobile friendly, you will lose out because people are all searching for you now on a mobile device. 39% of all mobile users access their social network, their social media networks from their smartphones. If your YouTube channel is not optimized properly so it doesn't look good on a mobile device, if you don't have the right image on your channel, if you don't have your videos tagged properly, titled properly, they will not look good. If your Facebook page is not set up properly, if your Twitter account, people will not be able to find you. 38% of all paid search clicks come from mobile devices. So if you're using that, you got to make sure that if someone finds you on mobile and they click and it goes to your website, it better look good, and every page better look good, and the font size is important and how close the images are together and all those things. And you could go to Google and you could type in you could put in your URL, do a search on Google, is my website mobile friendly? And you put in your URL and Google will literally tell you how many pages are on your website and if any of those pages have a problem on a mobile device. Organic search, 39% of Google, 44% of Yahoo, and 20% of Bing organic search on mobile devices. So with that said, here's the point of the whole thing. Having a website now is secondary to a mobile device. Being on social media, secondary to a mobile device. Everything you do is now secondary to a mobile device. Let me read you some of the thing that you might find. This is a very recent article, and then I'm going to talk about your own apps. This article just came out by Sophie Davidson, and it was published 5:29 this morning. Is today the 11th? Nope.
Well,
5:20 yesterday morning at 5:29 in the morning. Why mobile marketing is more than 50% more effective than social media marketing. Now, with that said, all the things that you have here, realize if you're walking around with an iPhone or a Samsung device in your back pocket, almost everything you do is on that device. And if you want to connect with people, you need to have your own mobile apps. You need to have your own iPhone app in the App Store, and you need to have the same thing in the Android Play Store from Google, because all your stuff, YouTube, Google, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, backlink accounts, they're all secondary to getting people to download your app, because they are now programmed. When they want to do something, they go to their phone, they put it out, and they tap on the app of the person they'd want to do business with. If you have your own app in the App Store, and you have a link as the calendar link so they could set up an appointment for your business, or like the apps that we build not only have calendar links, they now have built-in email program, phone dialing program, new chat feature. They could literally chat with you live or your front desk. You could do consultations with it. Social media sharing, all in the app. Everything else that we're talking about in 2015, March 12th, is secondary. If you don't have your own app, you're 50% out of business, and within the next 6 months, you are going to be non-existent. I don't care who builds your website, what nonsense they put on it, how pretty it looks, how many stock photos they use. Right now, it all comes down to one thing: mobile. If you don't have mobile, you're basically not a business that people take seriously.
Well, wait, Dr. Allen, I have one question in regards to what you just said. But all of these, we'll call them, applications, Facebook, Google, YouTube, they're in the palm of my hand. So even if I'm searching for someone, I still want to find that correct professional virtual appearance, even if it's on my handheld device.
That's right. But so let's say that you have YouTube on your handheld device or Google Plus, and you look up someone else who's on Google Plus, and they're not ready, their website's not ready, the links are not ready. It's still, everything has to be associated with with the mobile device. So what you're saying is true. However, that if you have an app where someone says, oh, let's say you're a doctor's office, and they want to find out more about you, or they want to set up an appointment with you, or whatever it is, having your own app on their phone is much more powerful now than any of these other tools for them to connect with you. And when you have your own app and you want to send out, whether it be a YouTube video, something you shared on Google, a new post on your Facebook page or Twitter, when you send them out from those social media networks into your own app, it pops up on the front of that little device in your hand, and you literally own that real estate. So the mobile device is the most important device right now, even though what you're saying is absolutely true.
Well, I'm an app junkie, so I've been long convinced. I just want to see if Jean wants to jump in here and has any comments on what we're talking about today. Jean, you could just unmute yourself. Or maybe I have to unmute you. I'm not sure. Dr. Allen, do I have to unmute her? Maybe do.
No, I don't know if it's a he or a she. You said
Okay.
Jean, I guess.
Good morning.
Oh, it's a she.
It's a she.
Good morning. I'm calling from Alberta. I agree with you that having that website presence is really important so that your patients and clients can find you. And you may not have a great deal of content as you're just getting started out, but even having something is better than nothing. Even if it's really clear instructions about how to contact with you next. The other part is that it's really important to engage your patients and clients but it might also be a really great competitive advantage for you to have a website presence that's professional to be able to recruit your additional employees and your other healthcare providers who are going to work with you.
Well, Dr. Allen, you're muted.
Yeah, Gene, do we have a video of you? I can't make out what the logo is. It almost looks to me like a pink elephant. Am I correct?
That's what I thought
You
it
are
was too.
correct. It's the pink elephant in the room. We talk
Oh,
about how
great.
practices manage the pink elephant in the room.
Cool. I like that. I like that.
And Jean, you're right. I think that and we'll confer with Dr. Allen and agree with him too. I think that all of these pieces are so important. I think that having a website, having, as Dr. Allen would say, owning your real estate in the app world, in the the portable world, the mobile world is critical today. And then having all of these other elements that we talk about. You're right that it was something that we have not discussed is that there are people that, depending upon what you do, that even when they've seen an ad and you might be looking to hire someone to be a part of your team, I would do the same thing now. If someone actually wants to hire a company to do things, one of the things I do is I look at who they are, what their presence is like. I instantly know if this very often is a company that we even want to work with. Because sometimes, people are just not worth the trouble if they're not willing to do the work needed to get things done. So I think that that's an interesting point, that people that are even looking to be, that when you're looking for employees and people are looking to be a part of your team, they're looking at this information too. They're really making a huge assessment of you based on, what they see. It's second to meeting you in person or walking into your office. And within a few seconds, when someone walks into your business or your office, they already have that first impression. Based on, I'm sure, a million different things that are there. Lighting and color and how things are designed and the kind of chairs you have and what's hanging on the walls. And people take all this in a matter of seconds and have a first impression. And that's the same thing that happens virtually, whether that's on your website, whether that's on here, and we're sending messages through an app, which many of you are watching this through mine or Dr. Allen's app today. So all of these things are really important. And I just want to kind of piggyback on something Dr. Allen said, because we didn't really go into that in this particular two-part series. But having an app as a small business person is very impressive today. Because most people think of apps, you think of the bigger companies. You think of the Facebooks, the Twitters, all these large companies where it's kind of expected, okay, they have an app, or your local news channel, or whatever it is that that you download. And as a small business person, when you tell people, hey, you know what, just download my app, you'll get to see all my videos, my blog will be in there, other pieces of information, announcements about things that are going on. People are very impressed with that. And I can tell you that Dr. Allen's app blows anything away that's available, anything at all. It's so versatile and allows you to do so many different things that, like I said, if it wouldn't be like, super crazy, I'd be in there sending app messages out a few times a day. So I love sending my app. But I think that we've hopefully driven the point home how important making a first impression is. And I always, as I stated when we started this, I always tie it back to relationship marketing. That's what we do. It's all about growing your business in a way that serves you for a really, really long time. And most times we talk about different programs that you do out in your community that are a way for you to build these relationships. But this is something that we think and we thought, and it's why we brought it to you, is just as important. Because we want you to make a good first impression. Don't be lazy. Don't not take the time to do all of these things, because when people land there, they want to see you a professional. If you're a health provider, if you're a realtor, if you're, all the things that we've taught you. And if you don't know how to do it, find someone that knows how to do it. it's okay. You don't have to do all this stuff yourself. It's something that we offer. I'm sure you may know other people that offer it. But if you like, give me a call, send me a message, and say, hey, Dr. Randi, would you be willing to take a look at our information? And I'll, tell you what's good, and I'll tell you what's bad, and I'll tell you what the problems are, and I'll tell you what the solutions can be. And something I'm very proud to do to help people, because I want everyone to have a fighting chance in this crazy business world that we're in. There's so many people. Dr. Allen talks about this all the time. There's so many people fighting for the same piece of the pie, that if you're not doing what it takes to set yourself apart and meet the expectations of the educated consumer today, and consumers don't ever fool yourself. They're very, very smart, and they have expectations. If you're not doing everything that you can, you are absolutely 1,000%, I don't care what you say, you are losing money. If you don't have a website that's found in search, if you don't have your social media pages built, if you don't have an app, because as Dr. Allen says, more and more, probably in the next 5 years, I would say, if you don't have an app, you're absolutely not being found. Dr. Allen would probably say that's this year. I don't know that I'm quite that technologically evolved, but these things are critical to business the same way having a phone number is. You wouldn't have a business without a telephone if you're a structure where people come into your business. Well, guess what? If you don't have all these elements available for the consumers that are looking for your product, your service, then it's the same thing as not having a phone number when they're trying to call you to make an appointment. That's the point it's gotten to. And it evolves very, very quickly. You have to stay on top of it. 20 years ago, it was like a big deal if you had a website. Actually, Dr. Allen, did we have websites 20 years ago? I'm trying to think in business. Maybe not 20 years ago.
Not 20 years ago.
12 years ago was when everybody started to have websites.
I'd say 15, yeah.
Yeah, so now these different elements evolve so quickly. You have to stay on top of what people are doing to attract business. You can't just sit there and say, I don't need to do that. I have a referral business. Well, that's great, but guess what? Those things are dwindling more and more. So stay on top of it, get connected, do what you have to do to be successful. I still say there's nothing like relationship marketing, whether it's what we teach you in some of our events, where you're eyeball to eyeball, whether it's on, Dr. Allen's app found on your iPhone or your desktop, for those that are still using desktops, or whether it's, through your social media presence. Relationship marketing is the key to success. You have all the tools, but sometimes you don't have all the right keys. So I encourage you all, reach out. Let's take a look at what you're doing. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. If you're doing a great job, trust me, I'm going to tell you that. But if you're not, I'm going to tell you that too. So that is basically where we're gonna tie it up. We thank Jean for jumping in here, and actually I am very honored that I'm going to be a guest on one of Jean's shows coming up at the end of April, and we're going to talk about some of these things. So that's pretty exciting. I'm going to thank Jean for jumping in here today and hanging out with us a little bit. And I am going to turn it over to Dr. Allen to close us out.
Okay, well, I didn't realize that you're going to be on Jean's show. That's fantastic. So congratulations on that. I'm excited actually for both of you. So that's terrific. You've been listening to Building Your Wellness Brand Within Your Community. Today's episode was brought to you by William David Company, rethinking small business marketing since 2009. Community Wellness Day. Every great opportunity begins with the first step. Take that step with Community Wellness Day, the system, the official marketing coaching program for healthcare professionals everywhere. The VIP app, the only applications that allow you to bring your live hangouts just like this one to the mobile apps, tablets, and desktops of all those people that have you in their circles. Of course, Google in 10 minutes, a step-by-step guide to all things Google for your business. On behalf of myself, Dr. Alan Weinstein, and my co-host, Dr. Randi Ross, we'll look forward to seeing you again next week when we bring you another episode. Have a great day, everybody.